Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and dear participants, good morning to all of you joining us from the different parts of Europe. My name is Maciej Zdanovic. I'm an EU Polish advisor at the NCBR office in Brussels, this Polish funding agency. And I'm pleased to welcome you to the Navigating Horizon Europe's Global Opportunities webinar. Horizon Europe is driving innovation and research excellence across borders, and today's session marks a significant step in strengthening these global ties. With recent developments, such as Canada's enhanced participation and the Republic of Korea's association under Pillar 2, the European research community is witnessing an unprecedented opportunity to engage with new partners, share expertise, and tackle common global challenges. Today's webinar is a part of webinar series where we will explore new opportunities for researchers, institutions, and innovators. Over the next few weeks, we'll focus on key regions. Today, we begin with a spotlight on Korea, exploring the new avenues for researchers for research collaboration under Horizon Europe, and hearing from Yale Song, Network and Policy Officer at the Korea EU Research Center. Next Wednesday, on 20th of February, we'll turn our attention to Canada, where we'll hear from Tamara Son, NCP Coordinator and Senior Policy Analyst at Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada. And next month, on the 6th of March, we'll focus on Africa, exploring Africa Charter, the African Research Universities Alliance, and the Africa-Europe cluster of research excellence, which are shaping the future of international scientific cooperation. So please stay tuned, and you are also welcome for the next webinars. Each session will provide insight into the funding mechanisms, collaboration frameworks, and networking opportunities available under Horizon Europe. And we encourage you to actively engage, ask questions, and seize the moment to connect with other experts in your field. This initiative is brought to you through regular cooperation between the Lithuanian RDI Liaison office in Brussels, LINO, my office, the NCBR office in Brussels, the Slovenian Business and Research Association, and Eötvös, Loránd University and Corvinus University of Budapest. We are fostering together international cooperation, strengthening research partnerships, and expanding global scientific cooperation under Horizon Europe mainly, but as well other programs. So according to our tradition, now I invite my colleagues to welcome you in our national languages. So please, Orsi, the floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Orsi Alugmai, and I represent two Hungarian universities of Budapest, Eötvös University and Corvinus University of Budapest. I'm very happy to welcome you here, and I hope you enjoy this presentation. Now a little bit in Hungarian. Szeretettel üdvözlöm Önöket, nagyon örülök, hogy ilyen sokan csatlakoztak hozzánk. Reméljük, hogy informatívnak találják az előadásokat, és kihasználják ezt a jó lehetőséget arra, hogy közvetlenül kérdezhessenek az előadótól, hogy minél több információt megtudjanak a különböző együttműködési lehetőségekről. Now switch to English. Thank you so much, and I give the word to LINO office Tadas.
Thank you, Arshoya. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tadas Tumėnas. I'm the head of Lithuanian RDI Liaison office here in Brussels, and it's a pleasure for me to welcome you all. And as Arshoya did, I will switch also to our mother tongue. So, labas rytas visiems prisijungusiam prie mūsų renginių serijos, kuri yra būtent skirta bendradarbiavimui su asocijuotomis Europos horizonto šalimis. Ir šios dienos seminarą mes pradedame su Pietų Korėją. Ir Korėja jau nuo 25 metų sausio 1 dienos yra oficialiai prisijungusi prie Europos horizonto. Todėl siūlau iš tikrųjų aktyviai dalyvauti ir tiesiog pasidomėti esamomis galimybėmis, pagalvoti apie korėjiečius partnerius jūsų būsimuose projektuose. Na ir taip pat noriu paminėti, kad vasario 12 mes turėsime tokio pačio pobūdžio seminarą su Kanada ir kovo 6 taip pat galėsite sužinoti daugiau apie Afrikos kontinentą. So now I'm switching back to English and giving the floor to my colleague.
Yes, and unfortunately today, in the last minute, the colleague from Slovenian Business Research Association couldn't join us. So I'm sending the greetings from Marko Setnic. And as I introduce myself in English, I will move to Polish introduction. Dzień dobry Państwu, serdecznie witam na naszej serii webinarów poświęconych współpracom pozaeuropejskim. Pierwszy webinar będzie dotyczył współpracy z Koreą. Jest to bardzo ważna współpraca, którą NCBR rozwija sukcesywnie od kilku lat, oferując współpracę dwustronną z organizacją koreańską KETEP, czy też współpracę wielostronną w formacie V4 z Koreą. Wierzymy, że to jest dopiero początek i mamy przyjemność zaprezentować ciekawą ofertę możliwej współpracy z Koreą w ramach horyzontu szerzej. Dziękuję i zapraszam do wysłuchania prezentacji. Now I will back to English, and with that, let us begin the session. And I have a pleasure of inviting Liaison to introduce us the exciting collaboration opportunities between Korea and the European research community. So thank you for your attention, and I wish you all inspiring and productive discussions.
Hello, everyone.
Floor is yours.
Yeah, and thanks for this introduction, and then it's wonderful to just hear all these beautiful languages. And I think I should also like do my presentation in South Korean, but I will just do it in English. So yeah, thanks for making this, organizing this webinar. I'm really glad to talk about South Korea and its association to Project Horizon Europe program to my 4 favorite countries. And I really mean it. And with the simple reason that I have my best friend, like Lithuanian best friend, and also I just have a great respect to Poland and Hungary. Like I think the people there has a great value and traditions, and also I like Slovenia. I just recently discovered that country, and then it's just beautiful cities over there. So thanks for inviting me, and then today I'm going to talk about. I will introduce you to my organization a little bit, and also I will talk about a little bit of the South Korea's R&D landscape so that you understand why South Korea, why you have to collaborate with South Korea. And also I will brief you about this Horizon Europe Association process. And also I will briefly talk about the Korea-EU digital partnership, its most important element. And also I will let you know our planned activities for Horizon Europe in 2025. And also I will introduce you a little bit about the Brainpool program. So a little bit about my organization. So as the name suggests, Korea-EU Research Center. Actually in South Korean, we call it Korean-EU Research Cooperation Center. So we do everything that to enhance Korea and EU R&D cooperation. And our activity doesn't apply only to European Union, but also we include like United Kingdom and Switzerland, other European countries as well. So our mission is to promote the R&I cooperation between Korea and the EU. And then we serve as a platform to facilitate R&I policy and the research collaboration. Usually it takes half an hour to introduce our activities, but today I will just include it in this one slide. So we are the Korean Liaison Office to the EU, as your colleagues here. And also we are the coordinator for the National Contact Point, NCPs of Korean. And then also we are the cooperation platform for the research cooperation. And also we are the observatory on European R&I. But in short, today, you just have to understand KERC as the Horizon Europe office for the Korea. So we are doing every activities that are related to the Horizon Europe. And among the many activities, I just included a few activities that are related to the governmental cooperation. So here's a few examples that we supported this policy cooperation. So our main task for last few years were the Horizon Europe Association. So we provided all the information and also we facilitate all the dialogues and the negotiations between two countries. And also we facilitated the signing of the digital partnership, and also we are helping supporting this implementation of the partnerships. And also, apart from the KERC, there is 2 new centers established in Brussels. So our colleague, Korea Europe Quantum Science Technology Cooperation Center, it was established last July, and we are sharing the same office space in Brussels. And also there is a new semiconductor office established within the same space as the Korea Research Center. So now the 3 people are now here with us, and then I think they will start operating their office very soon. And also we engaged in a lot of space cooperation between the European agency and the Korean agency. Just for your information, South Korea has established and opened a new space agency called CASA last May. And at the bottom, you see there are many bilateral cooperation dialogues between the European and the South Korean countries. Of course, there are more with the other countries as well, but I just included some examples that the KERC is directly included. So for example, Switzerland, France, Netherlands, United Kingdom, Czech Republic, and Belgium. So next slide. So I will briefly introduce about the overview of the R&D landscape of Korea. So according to the European Innovation Scoreboard, the South Korea has been always labeled as innovation leader. So it always topped the performance among the global competitors, as you can see on the left bottom chart. So South Korea is always #1 among the global competitors of the EU, showing the 126% of the performance than the EU. And also we boast big researcher pools with more than 600,000 researchers, and each award 4th rank. So we have many researchers per population. And also we have the 4th biggest government investment in R&D among OECD countries, with more than like 22 billion euros in 2023. And that results the R&D intensity of more than 5%. So it's usually around the world's 1st or world's 2nd of the R&D spending. So here is our little overview of the R&D budget and the expenditures. So in 2022, we had a total investment of almost 80 billion euro. So mostly the 50% of this spending comes from the private sector, and the 20% are invested in the university and the public research institute. And I have to mention this National Research Foundation of Korea, because mainly most of the public and the university fund R&D budgets are coming from the National Research Foundation. And their budget is 2nd biggest in the world among the global research funding agencies, as you can see in this left chart. And also these R&D budgets are used to make an outcome of the outstanding achievement, and as you can see on the right figures. So NRF, actually my office is under the direct influence of the NRF, because my Director General, it comes from the NRF. So NRF has this lot of international partnerships. So they have signed MOU with more than 80 institutions in more than 50 countries. I think the number has increased during last year. So with Europe, we have already like 40 agencies that have signed MOU, and I found some familiar names here. So under the table, you can see that with Hungary, we have 3 MOUs with 3 different organizations: Hungarian Scientific Research Fund, Hungarian Academy of Science, and the Academy of Engineering. And with Poland, we have an MOU with the Polish Academy of Sciences. And with Slovenia, we have this Slovenian Science Foundation. So with Hungary and Poland, we have also joint research under the framework of the Korea V4 joint research programs. So under this program, they fund joint research between South Korea and each V4 countries. And here the Lithuania is not included, but I remember that a few years ago, the Science Ministry also requested us to make some report about Lithuania, so I remember that. And then they had a few political dialogues during the last few years, and they also signed some MOU between the other agencies as well. So maybe it's not shown here, but there's always cooperation happening. And the NRF organization, you can see on the right picture. So they have 5 main directorates that are divided according to their budget spending. And then they have 7 regional offices. And then one in Belgium is Korea Research Center. It's the biggest and the best center. And so this is a little bit breakdown of the NRF's budget. So as you can see, most of the funding goes to the university funding in the academic research. And also a large portion goes to the basic research in science and engineering. And then the same amount goes to the national stretching R&D programs. And then they also spend 1% of their budget to the international cooperation. And then I wanted to introduce to this 25 research institute of the South Korea, because they always play major role in when it comes to the international cooperation. So we have this 25 research institute, and the KERC also receive a seconded staff from this institute. And then when they come to the KERC in Brussels, they function as a NCP for Horizon Europe as well. So for the moment, we have one seconded staff from the E3, Electronic and Telecommunication Research Institute. And he's a very active NCP in Cluster 3 and Cluster 4. And then now we are planning to receive at least two more seconded staff from this institute, so that we can have NCP for each clusters. And then the next slide, it shows an overview of the science and technology diplomacy of the South Korea. So a couple of years ago, South Korea selected 12 national strategic technology, which are shown here. And then they are really emphasizing these 12 technologies. So if you are the researcher who are conducting the research in these 12 areas, you have a more chance to collaborate with South Korea. And then nowadays, they are emphasizing these 3 main technologies: artificial intelligence, advanced biotechnology, and the quantum technology. So in 2025 budget, they are also dedicating more budget to these 3 technologies, because they are very important in this global landscape. So because of the intensifying global race for the technological supremacy, and then Korea is expected to play a bigger role in the global landscape. And also because of the talent shortage, or because of the importance of the acquisition of the strategic technology, the strategic approach became more critical, and then the science technology cooperation became more important. That's why South Korean government set out these 4 strategies for their science and technology diplomacy. I'm not going to all the details. I just want to mention this second strategy: establish strategic cooperation channels by region, because we are related to all this. So here I just included some examples about the cooperation channels with Europe. So of course, the Horizon Europe is the most important one, since this is the most closest cooperation formed between the European Union and the third country. And then also there is another channel called Korea-EU Digital Partnership. And also there is a lot of bilateral cooperation channels with each countries. So now on the main topic, so about the Korea's Horizon Europe Association. So the association process started in February 2022 by Korean formally expressing their interest to associate Horizon Europe during the 7th Joint Science and Technology Cooperation Committee. And then the formal negotiations started since May 2023 during the 10th summit between the Korea and the EU. But the actual meeting of the negotiation started in October. And then next year in March, the conclusion of the negotiation was announced. So actually it didn't take so long time. I think it took only like 4-5 months to conclude this negotiation. It means that they had a great common interest and the common needs for this association. So now Korea is associating in Horizon Europe Pillar 2 since 2025. So under the transitional agreement, Korea can already participate in Horizon Europe, but only starting from the World Cup program 2025. And then now they are going to sign the association agreement in March. So what does it mean, this association? So Korea will become, or let's say has become, the first Asian country to associate Horizon Europe. And because of that, Korean researchers now can receive research funding directly from the Horizon Europe budget. It means that they can become also a beneficiary, which means they can participate in Horizon Europe project as a coordinator or participant. It will give easier access to the South Korean researchers. And also for you, it will be easier to collaborate with the South Korean researchers through Horizon Europe program as well. So Korean researchers now have the access to almost all cores under the Pillar 2. And also Korea can participate as an observer in the program committee, which is a part of Horizon Europe governance. So just keep in mind that Korea is only joining under the Pillar 2 in 6 clusters, but it does not mean that Korea cannot participate in other pillars. They can still participate in Pillar 1. For example, Korea has been participating in MSCA staff exchange program quite a lot, but they just only need to bring their own funding source. And then in South Korea, we have some funding mechanisms that support Korean participation in Pillar 1 as well. So it's still possible to collaborate under the Pillar 1. And also South Korea can also participate in the wide era as well. So here's a little figures about the Korea's participation history. So we've been participating in framework program since FP7. As you can see here, we participated in 54 projects under the framework program 7, and under the Horizon Europe, Horizon 2020, with more than 80 projects with more than 100 participations. And in Horizon Europe, by January, we have already participated in 52 projects with the 68 participations. And also the success rate is more than 20%, which is quite high. And also you can see this increasing number of the Korean participation in Horizon Europe. And if you want to get to know about more details about this project, you can come to our website, Horizon Europe Tracker. There you can find all the list of the 52 projects. And then with the association, we are anticipating that this participation rate will increase. And then here, actually last December, so we published this new publication, a case study on Horizon Europe project with Korean participation. So in this publication, we interviewed 6 different researchers who participated in Horizon Europe project. So 4 of them were participated as an associated partners. And then 2 of them were actually Korean researchers who are working in the European Institute and then who coordinated the project. So they shared their experience, and also they talked about all of their application process to consortium building and then finding partners. And they also provided their experience, what was the challenge when it comes to collaborating with the European partners, and what is the benefit of the participating in Horizon Europe project. And then also we also interviewed EU project coordinators to include the perspective from EU partners. And here are a few questions and examples that I included on slide. So we asked, why did you collaborate with Korean partners? And then they mentioned Korea's technology and innovation capability, of course. And then also they mentioned that South Korean researchers has a very good collaborative and hardworking mindset, and which can also bring a positive influence in their consortium. And also they mentioned the South Korea's crucial position in the global market. So by including Korean partners in their consortium, they can get access to a broader global market as well. And also we asked what's the benefit of a collaboration. And then they mentioned that European and Korean researchers have very different approaches to the problem solving, so that actually they can learn from each other and then they can inspire each other as well. And also they mentioned that the South Korean people in general, they are very kind, supportive, and professional. I hope you have the same impression after this webinar as well. And also they mentioned that also cultural exchange is a very positive aspect of this collaboration. And mostly when we asked about the challenges, they mentioned the time difference and the physical distance. So when it comes to when you have to send some samples or the hardwares, there can be logistic problems. It can take a long time, especially during the COVID and this war, geopolitical tensions. It has been few issues. And also when you have to schedule the meeting, online meeting, it's hard to find a time spot. Also, when I have to communicate with my Korean colleagues, I have to always set the meeting schedule in the morning, because in the 9 a.m. in Brussels, it's already 5 p.m. in South Korea. So we have 8 hours of difference in winter and 7 hours during the summer. And when you have to meet personally, face-to-face, also there's a little bit travel cost. But I think it's just a minor elements. And then it can be just addressed through active communication and strategic planning. And that's what they said also. So they don't see it as a huge problem, because there is a more benefit in collaboration. So if you want to look at these 6 cases, you can go to this link, but it's only in Korean. But I think with the help of AI, maybe you can a little bit understand what they are saying. So last December, we also conducted a demand survey on Pillar 2 to figure out how many Korean researchers are interested in which clusters, in which research area topics. So last December, on 10th of December, I organized a webinar for Korean researchers. So this webinar was like 3 hours long, and we explained every details about this application process and how to find the partners or how to submit the proposals and everything about the Pillar 2 application. And then more than like 350 researchers actually registered to the webinar, and then most of them are professors from the universities. And then at the beginning of the webinar, we did this live survey, and then more than 170 people responded. So actually they could choose only one cluster. So as you can see here, most of them were interested in cluster 1 and cluster 4 project, but also many people are also interested in cluster 5 and 6. And also there were a few needs for the cluster 2 and 3. Actually it showed very well that Korea's strengths in the biotechnology and the ICT technology as well. And then also we did another more in-depth survey. So here they could choose a multiple options. And then here we have a slightly higher demand for the cluster 4. And then the chart below, we asked them to choose destination. And then also these 90 respondents, they provided all their details, their name, their own organization, and in which research topic they are interested in. So we have this data. So if you also send us about your research and something, we can also make matchmaking as well. And here are some Korean support mechanisms for Korean researchers. So these are funding for Korean domestic researchers, but I think it's good for you also. It's good to know about these programs so that you know that, okay, there is this kind of mechanisms that will help you to also collaborate with Korean researchers. So Korea-EU Cooperation Promotion Program, it supports domestic researchers when their preparation for their application to Horizon Europe in Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. So it's a small funding amount because it only supports for their networking and the matchmaking. So any Korean researchers who want to apply for the Horizon Europe project, they can apply for this funding. So it provides about 20,000 euros for 12 months. And also there is a Korea-EU Joint Research Support Program. It supports, it has been the main instrument for Korean researchers who are interested in Horizon Europe by so far. So it usually supports 4 projects per year, about also 100,000 euro per year during like 3-4 years. It supports Korean researchers who are already selected in Horizon Europe project. So as now we are associated in Pillar 2, they don't need this funding scheme for the Pillar 2. So I think it will be mainly used for the Pillar 1, usually maybe MCA staff exchange course. And then we also have another funding for the Korean NCPs. By so far, we only had one funding, but now we will have 8 funding for the Korean NCPs, which is very good news because it means that there will be more dedicated Korean NCPs who will support Horizon Europe participation. And here's a little bit about the Korea-EU digital partnership. So it was launched in November 2022. So we signed a digital partnership, and then they announced they identified 11 initial set of joint actions, including the collaborative research under the Horizon Europe Framework Program. And then there are main digital key areas such as semiconductor, quantum technology, cybersecurity, 5G, 6G, etc. And then this digital partnership is implemented by the Digital Partnership Council. It's a ministerial level meeting. So from Korean side, the Minister of the Science and ICT, and from the European side, the EU Commissioner. They come together every year to discuss the common interest area and then to review their major outcomes and to identify new cooperation areas. So at the first council, it was held in Seoul in 30th June in 2023. So they discussed the following topics in chips, HPC and quantum technology, 6Gs. And then all the major outcomes were discussed and reviewed in second council, which was held in Brussels in March 2024. So I will just mention a few important outcomes. So they had the first Korea-EU Semiconductor Researchers Forum last March. And also they launched their joint core between the CHIPS JU and the NRF. So they funded 4 projects. The projects are now already has started. And also there's a new center, Eötvös Quantum Science Technology Cooperation Center was established in Brussels last July. In July, last July, not like 2 years ago, so July 2023. And actually they are holding this quantum expert relay workshop regularly in collaboration with the DG Connect. So Korean and the European quantum experts, they come together and then they discuss their research, and also they identify the common interest areas. And actually this workshop resulted in the some new course under the work program 2025, which is here. So I think most of you already saw this work program 2025 draft. And there I found some course that explicitly mentions the South Korea. So here are 2 of them. So first one is in cluster 4 in digital emerging technologies. So there is a core about the quantum technology in low TRL. So with the 8 million euros, it will fund 3 projects exclusively joint research and development with South Korea. So if you are interested in collaborate with South Korea in quantum technology, you can always contact this KEQSTCC, which is just next to our office. So you can also contact me. I can give you a contact. And also there is another core that mentions the international cooperation with South Korea is encouraged. So it's about the integrated approach for the remanufacturing. So it's under the Made in Europe partnership. It's EA, so innovation action. So with the 30 million euro, it will fund about 6 to 7 projects. So actually, we've also received a lot of contact from the Korean industry and also European institute because they wanted to collaborate under this core. And then, yeah, these CHIPS JU cores were announced last year in February, and then now they selected 4 projects last July. And I'm not sure if they are going to continue this kind of a funding scheme in the future, but anyway, the Korea-EU Semiconductor Researcher Forum will be held regularly every year. So this year it will be, I think, in June in South Korea. So just it's good to know if you are the semiconductor researcher that there is this kind of a communication channel between the Europe and Korea. So if you need any support and if you want to build some network with the Korean researchers, you can always contact us. because KERC is the main Horizon Europe office, which is located in Europe. And we also have a new Horizon Europe task force in NRF in South Korea. So they were established last July, and then we are working together. So they mainly deal with the South Korean researchers, and we are here in Europe to build a network with the European researchers and also research funding agencies and other organizations. So we too are functioning as the main Horizon Europe office for Korea. And then in certain scientific fields, such as the quantum technology and the semiconductor, we have these 2 additional office or center in Brussels. So you can always find us. And of course, in South Korea, we have the NCPs, and I found that the European Commission announced the new Korean NCPs in January. You can find the list on the funding and tenders portals, but mainly active Korean NCPs are within these organizations. So I'll explain you about our planned activities in 2025. So now we are preparing this Korea EU Pillar 2 Researchers Forum. It is to support the networking and the matchmaking between Korean and the European researchers for the Horizon Europe application. So we are going to invite around 10 Korean researchers to Brussels so that they can have an in-person conference with the European researchers. So also we'll invite matching number of the European researchers as well. So first forum is now planned for cluster 4 under the AI topics. Actually, it's not limited to the cluster 4 because also AI can be found in other clusters as well. So anyway, we'll focus on the topic AI. So it will be held in 1st and 2nd of the April. So actually, we just already sent out invitation to Korean researchers, and then many of them already confirmed their attendance. And now in the upcoming weeks, we'll also start sending out the invitation to European researchers as well. And then as we had this webinar today, if there is anyone who is interested in this forum, I can also make a 1 seat for the participants of today. So if you are interested in this forum and you are the researchers in the AI area, you can leave me an email. And also we are going to make this kind of a forum for each clusters throughout the year. And also we are going to build the Horizon Europe one-stop shop, which is just a website. So Horizon Europe official website for Korea. So the KRC website will host this Horizon Europe one-stop shop. And then we are planning to launch this website in March or April. So now I'm working on this. So it will provide all the relevant information on Horizon Europe, such as the funding calls and partner search and FAQs, event calendars and NCP activities and so on. So it can be the single access point for the Horizon Europe with South Korea. So yeah, the main feature will be the partner search. So we actually received a lot of introductory papers from the researchers explaining their research topics and their research and their publications. So I think we will publish them on this webpage in the future. Also, if you are interested in to find Korean partners, you can always leave us an email. So when we see some matching point, we can always connect you both. And also we are going to launch a Horizon Europe webinar series. So last December, we held this first very detailed application process webinar. And also we featured some Korean success stories as well. It was a 3 hours long intense webinar, and then there were more than 350 attendees. So there are huge interest from the Korean research communities as well. And so we are going to make a lot of info sessions, workshops, and webinars for Korean researchers. So next webinar will be held in April, focusing on the work program 2025, but also we can make some kind of a matchmaking webinars with you here, like other offices that's in Brussels. So we can discuss in the future about this. So here are some examples of our activities in the past. So we had a lot of info days and the information sessions, and also we made this webinar series, and also we support direct partnering in the matchmaking, by participating in their consortium meeting or by just linking them through our network. And also we hold a lot of forums and roundtables, and also we make this workshop for the MSc postdoctoral fellowships as well. And also during these webinars, we also introduce a European institute, because many Korean researchers don't know about what kind of a European institutes are there. Also, we had a ERC webinar for Korea, etc. So if you need any questions, you can always contact my email is here, and also you can visit our website. We also send out the newsletters about the South Korean science news articles every week. So you can subscribe to our newsletter for the what's new in Korea. And also we have the LinkedIn page. You can follow us on LinkedIn. And then here, just a few extra information for you. So in South Korea, we have this program called Brainpool program. So each to attract the outstanding overseas scientists. So you can think it as a reverse MSc program or reverse ERC program. So this Brainpool program funds PhD holders living overseas for about 3 years. It's kind of generous funding with a maximum 350 million won. And also there is a Brainpool Plus program for more advanced researchers. And as it's mentioned here, if you are conducting your research in these 12 national strategic technology fields, you have a more priority. So here are a few figures. So they are funding about 400 researchers per year. And then here you can see that that European researchers are quite low in this figure. So I hope that you can contribute to raise these numbers a little bit. And in 2025, they are planning to fund more than 63 researchers through the Brainpool program, and then 5 researchers through Brainpool Plus program. So the core has not yet open when I checked yesterday, but the application will be soon open. So here's the timeline. So if you want to also research in South Korea, you can keep in mind this program. So my presentation is done now. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Yael, for very informative and really well prepared presentation. And definitely we confirm that this presentation will be shared with you. And thank you for delivering the contact details, because I believe they are really important for the colleagues. So now we'll start the Q&A session. And I answer for the first question, and also in the chat you can ask the questions, and also answer and confirm that we'll share the presentation and the video recording. I have and maybe I will start the Q&A session. And I won't go into in explaining why the mobility of the researchers is important, why this cultural exchange is important, and you really well noted the benefits of this cooperation. But I'm wondering what opportunities do you foresee that this cooperation with Horizon Europe and European countries might bring in the upcoming years?
So actually, in South Korea, when it comes to the collaborating with the overseas countries, South Korean researchers usually opt for the US or Japan or China, because they didn't know so much about this European science and technology landscape. And actually, this Horizon Europe Association had a huge impact on the raising this awareness of the European research and development. So I think that's first a positive impact. So now many Koreans are aware that, okay, in Europe also you have this kind of funding schemes, and also there are many great institute for such as technology areas. and they are now looking more into the European opportunities as well. For example, we hosted this MSJPF fellowship, MSJPF workshop for last 2 years. So we launched this workshop in 2023, and then there was only 130 registrants. But when we made the second workshop, the number was doubled. So more and more Korean PhDs or postdoctorals, they are more interested in pursuing their research career also in Europe. Also, they are more open to collaborate with the European Institute. And this Horizon Europe will make easier access for the Korean researchers. And thanks to that, I think the number of the cooperation will just increase in the next years. And also you see that this association means that Europe and South Korea is becoming more closer partners to each other, because we are strategically very important to each other in this global landscape. So yeah, I think we are becoming more important.
Yeah, and I hope that it as well increase the number of the exchanges, as we saw on your slide that the Europe exchanges are still low in their performance. So I really hope that this collaboration will increase this connections and linkages. But my second question is like, you will launch your website
Yes.
in next month. I hope you will also like, and we might try to find another occasion to promote it among our other beneficiaries and countries to promote it better. Are you planning to have there like kind of a partner search tool, or what will be your advice to the to the participants how to search for the partners in Korea? They should like contact you directly and you will navigate them, because I know it might be like a lot of emails to
Yeah,
handle it.
indeed.
My product placement is that we opened this kind of a search tool, Pathfinder, which is available on the NCBR website. And I know that there is a funding tender portal used from time to time to search partners, which is not easy to navigate. And I
Yeah.
heard a lot of complaints about that. But what will be your advice how to search the partners?
Yeah, I think the website that we are making will be more or less same as the partner search tool on the funding and tenders portal. So what actually we receive a lot of these papers from the researchers, and then we will just make a forum where everyone can just publish their own promotion materials. So we will perhaps receive them and then we will publish ourselves. But so there you can find what kind of South Korean researchers are there in each cluster or each research topic. So you can search them and then you can make a contact with them. And also maybe we can do it vice versa. So we can also receive this information from the European side, and then also we can publish it there so the South Korean researchers can also find them. But otherwise, most of these activities will be done through our events, such as a workshop or the matchmaking event. And then if you want to find Korean researchers, so of course, you can just contact us, because then we will just send out this to our colleagues in South Korea and then NCP networks. And then now we are trying to build this kind of a governance within the South Korean offices. That's what we are planning to do also in 2025. We still have to work on it because we have to establish this governance from the scratch. And then now we are at the very beginning phase. So we have to see how it goes. But if you can just send us the data and then we will share it with our partners in South Korea, and then we will have a big database and then we can use it later to make a connection.
Great.
Yeah.
And I wanted also to ask you about this networking events, because you already mentioned a few of them, as for example, AI Forum in the 1st and 2nd of April. It will be in person or online even, and in Brussels or?
Yeah, it'll be in persons, and then we will hold it in Brussels. So we'll invite Korean researchers to come here. So it'll be 2 days of the conference between the researchers, and we limited the number in 10 researchers so that they can really have a close dialogue to each other, and then they can really make this connection and then apply for the Horizon Europe course. So we will invite Korean researchers, and then also we'll invite European researchers as well. So they will have 2 days of the conference, and then the next 2 days, we will also visit some research sites and etc.
Yeah, we'll be like really interested in participating in this kind of events because we organizing in our cooperation among Lithuanian, Slovenian, Hungarian, and other offices as well, matchmaking and brokerage events. And I recommend to follow your future website, where probably we'll find more details about upcoming events. And I also recommend to ask you about the participation in this event because it's quite interesting and it's a good occasion to meet in person the researchers. And another question, we also received the question in the chat, and it's related to my other question. The numbers you present about the participation Horizon Europe Pillar 2 programs already impressive, and the success rate is also really good one. But could you tell us like the Korea entered all the partnerships? Because I noted that your key areas of the cooperation is digital, semiconductors, energy, space, biotech, quantum. But I'm wondering if you join all of the partnerships, or could you tell us which are the most popular topics and most important from the Pillar 2 that you're actively involved?
Yeah, of course, as I mentioned, it's mostly in cluster 1 and cluster 4, but also it's because in Horizon Europe itself, the budgets are most biggest in the cluster 4 and cluster 5 and 6 and 1. But also there is some interesting cluster 2 and the SSH as well. I mean, when we make this kind of webinars for Korean researchers, there is always someone who asks us about, hey, how about the social and science and the humanities? Do they also fund these programs, projects? And also in cluster 2, we already have received, I think, 2-3 direct requests about if we can support them to find the partners in these areas as well. And some of the very ambitious Korean researchers want to coordinate the project in the cluster 2 as well. So yeah, there is also needs, and of course, yeah.
Which is also quite important because each cluster has its own partnerships, and there are website where probably your beneficiaries and a representative from Korea might enter their data in searching for the partners, because also every partnership has its own tools to announce the calls and search for the partners. And I believe it might be really quite important in building partnerships with Korea. So are there any other questions, maybe from the audience? You can ask them like by raising your hand or type in the chat. So maybe my last...
There is one
yeah.
question.
I'm sorry. My name is Victoria Cupon from the University of Pannonia from Hungary. I have a question because, yeah, you mentioned you are already organizing some matchmaking events, but as I mentioned in the chat wall, we are organizing as well in Brussels in the middle of April. And if you are open for it, we would like to invite you and maybe some researchers, because as I mentioned, we have some ongoing projects, Horizon projects related to the cluster 6. So related to bioeconomy, related to the climate change and the soil mission and climate mission. So, and of course you can join us online. Of course, it's also possible. So maybe it could be a great opportunity to meet other researchers from Europe, because we would like to invite many researchers from Portugal from Turkey, from Spain. So we will have lots of countries there.
Yeah, I think
so if you are interested in, you are more than welcome.
Yeah, it sounds good. And if you can share me with more information, then I can share it through my network. And then I think there will be definitely someone who's interested in to participate in this event.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope after today's webinar, you will be really busy person here, receiving a lot of emails from our country participants. And thank you for really informative presentation and answering all these questions. And I believe it's only the beginning of the cooperation. And I see that it's increasing, and the fruits will be they're already visible, and I hope this number of the collaboration will increase soon. And thank you all for your participation. You are also welcome to send after the meeting some emails directly to you or to us, and we might think about like strengthening this cooperation and invite you for other type of the events. Your involvement today is a testament to the power of the research and innovation sector in Europe, and in bringing nation and driving progress across the world. So thank you again for your participation. And if there is any other, if there is no more questions, we'll end.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for their attendance, and thank you for organizing this event, and hope to hearing from you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the informative